Hello YouTubers, today I'm going to go over the Sony PD170 with quite a bit of detail because I'd had a request to go into the manual settings of the unit. Got the PD150 here, the older model. Both of these are really nice semi-pro cameras of the day, and you've seen footage of this quite recently. I've only had this a couple of months, well I've had the 170 about 2 years. It took me a long time to get. This is the third time lucky with this one. It took me a while to get a working one, and this one's got very low hours, so really happy with that unit. But the 170 for the most part is very similar, but the main difference which I do enjoy with the 170 is here you can clearly see you've got a zoom rocker and a record button on the handle, which is missing on the 150. The 150 does not have that. The 150 does feel by hand anyway slightly lighter. I haven't checked the specs, but it does feel a bit lighter. But yeah, the 170 does have that benefit of the record button and the zoom, and that is really that's really helpful when you're running gunning with these cameras, which are what they're really designed for, and why the skaters really love them. I mean, you have the flip out screen here and you can sort of monitor everything and then just record and zoom as you like. But let's power this up. Now, the actual request was that they obviously didn't understand or wanted to understand better the sort of settings of how you can get this out of auto and, you know, really customize the settings and stuff. And what I'll just do is show how firstly you get out of that. So at the back of the camera, very clearly labelled, you've got an auto lock here button. So when this is pushed fully to the top, the camera is in full automatic. You have zero control of everything. The camera will do everything for you. I'll just check with the focus. You can still flick on focus to manual if you so wish, and to do that, that is here. So you just push that down once and that will go into manual focus, and then you will use the lens element or lens control here to focus. The infinity button, you see if you push that all the way down it goes to far focus. So say you were filming the sky, you know, the moon, fireworks, it'd be a good way to quickly manual focus to far distance, and then it locks it off so it won't constantly adjust. And with fireworks that can be a problem because the camera's obviously seeing different lighting happening very quickly, and sometimes it can sort of auto hunt with cameras. So in that instance, infinity is a great option just to flick on there. On here you have the ND filters. If you don't know what they are, in English basically they are like sunglasses for your camera lens. If you're out on a very bright day, you can flick that onto 1 and that will bring it onto the first stop with the ND. Or if it's incredibly bright, or you're filming in a very bright environment, like trying to film the moon for instance, which I've done multiple times, you would be best to put that onto 2. That will bring it down on another stop, and then you may even need to control the aperture to make it even darker. So to do that, you go to the back of the camera. Let's get the viewfinder out of the way. You'd move this down from autofocus to manual. Now you have control over everything. Here, straight away, you can adjust your iris, so how much light is coming into the camera. So as I say, pretend you're filming the moon, you've got it on the highest ND it can do, and then this little toggle wheel here will control the brightness. Let's get the screen open of what you're doing. So let's into manual. Turn the ND filters off, and then sorry, the iris on this camera, press that little button first to activate it, then the control. But yeah, that's how you do it. So you'll see it on there as an f-stop, and then you just adjust that accordingly to how bright or how dark you want the image to be, and that will go down. So let's go all the way down f-stop wise, and there you go. You can do all the way until it's closed, and it will clearly label close on the screen. Sorry. So the good thing about these cameras, and why I particularly like the Sony Pro units, is even with the camera in manual, by default everything is on auto still, unless you then change that. So I'm talking about gain, I'm talking about shutter speed. They can all still be in automatic, in manual camera feature mode, and then you can just press the button. It will toggle that option on screen, and then you will adjust again what you want to do with the dial here. It's all very much controlled by these buttons here and the dial. When you're in manual, there's some bits in the menu you can go into and sort of change here and there, but the general stuff, the important thing is for camera operation, for controlling your white balance, which is, you know, you've got your button here for and shutter and iris and everything. That's all on the camera body. As a pro camera, that's what it has to be like. You need this thing to be as easy as to use and as well quickly as possible to use, because it's designed for a professional. You need to be out, you need to interview, you don't want to be messing around, and you haven't got time to waste on that. So that is how you get the camera in manual. So it's very simple on these units. It really is just a toggle switch, and then here you can customize what you want to change to get that picture the way you want it. Now, in terms of the hold option at the back here, the reason that is there is if you're doing, say, a day's shooting, and you'll probably need to adjust your iris because sunlight will obviously adjust during the day. But if you're in a controlled lighting environment, so the lighting's not going to change, so you can white balance and have the camera set so the colours are, you know, white are white and every colour is sort of as it should be captured. You can then lock this in manual mode, and then none of these things will work. So basically you're manually overriding everything so your heart's content, and then you're going, right, well, that's how I'm going to be wanting to do for the day, and I do not need that to change. You just push it all the way down to lock, and then all those buttons, someone can't accidentally tap something and, you know, accidentally change something. So it's really quite a nice feature to have that there. And again, it just points to the fact this is a professional camera. It's designed for that environment, or, you know, in colleges or film places where you're training people how to use the camera like I'm doing here, and you can customize it and lock it off. In white balance, a little bit more detail, I did explain. It's about getting white as white. So sometimes if you're, depending on the lighting situation, if you're in a normal house, home lighting, the camera can sometimes get a bit sort of washed out with the wrong colour, and the camera's trying to do its best job of getting the colours and making them look like how they should do. But sometimes it gets it wrong. So it's important that you have white balance, and the way you do that, you press the button. Let's power it up again, show you on the screen. I don't have anything white that I can do this with, but at least I can show you. So the old-fashioned way of doing it, and the same way is, you know, to this day, is press white balance. Helps if I put it into manual first. Right, it's in white balance mode, and there's something flashing, and that's because it's ready for you to set it. So now you would get somebody, or have the camera zoomed in on a purely white surface. You would then press the button, it would flash a few times, and then it's locked off. Now what you're seeing there is the colours are all skewed wrong, and that's because that's not something white. Let me see if I've got anything actually at hand. Those letters have got info on it, and not pure white. But anyway, regardless, that is, you know, explains exactly what that is there for. So white balance, you press the button, you'll get a little symbol there, and then you press in on the joypad once the camera screen is filled with a white thing, such as a white piece of paper or pointed at a white wall. Then the camera from then onwards will get the colours right for that environment. But you do need to bear in mind, if you then take that camera outside, the colours are going to be wrong, they're going to be off. And that's why cameras always, if they've got that sort of control, will have an indoor and outdoor setting. Otherwise, do it manually, you're always going to get the best results anyway. Because again, auto's good, but cameras do get them wrong, and lighting changes completely. It can throw the camera off, and things can look blue outdoors when they're indoors, and vice versa. So it's, you know, it's worth customizing when you're doing something, you know, professional with the camera, or, you know, or something for YouTube that you want to make look good. So in terms of the other features on this camera, I'm going to the menu briefly. Let's bring that up. So the menu is on here. I think this Yes, joypad works a little bit better. No, they're both a bit tricky at the moment. The PD150 skips all over the place. Now, the way to fix that, there's a good reason to bring that up. If you are pressing down on this thing and it's sort of jumping around, flicking around, the best thing to do is get something like isoprobe alcohol, put it on a bit of a cotton bud, and then at the back of the camera, just sort of, don't go mad with the amount, but just put a bit of, not WD-40, worst thing you could do, isoprobe alcohol on the little cotton swab, and then just push up and down on this and just clear it, and that will sort the problem. It will probably come back at some point. They do, that's just joypads and how they operate. But yeah, so we're on, let's put the camera back into manual, which again will give you a little bit more options and such, but most of the stuff, as I say, being a professional camera, is on the body for ease of operation and just getting things done quickly. Going down a bit more, you've got your standard things like digital zoom. Always turn that off, and unless you really need to have that extra zoom, but you will be losing quality by doing that. Digital zoom is not physically zooming in further, it's cropping into a picture digitally like a computer would do when you zoom in on, you know, a website and stuff. Although the computer does that a lot better. Camera, not so much. It will look dog shite, so don't do that. Steady shot speaks for itself. Have that switched on. These cameras, being Sony, have got the handy cam steady shot feature, and they're very, very good. You get really nice smooth video just walking around with it in your hand, because that's what the camera is designed to do. Initial record is to record, basically its camera's buffering constantly a few seconds beforehand. So say you're doing somebody for recording a birthday, and you're worried about missing anything, having that on will just mean the camera's got a few extra seconds in the cam and the buffer, and as soon as you press record, it's already got those few seconds. Wind mic, that's just turning on wind for the microphone, so it limits the amount of wind. It doesn't do a great job, but you know, they're there. Power, don't need to worry about these. Record mode. So let's go back now. Okay, so just going through the menus here, a few of them. Record mode, here you have the option to record in DV cam, which was, and I've mentioned this many times, but this is a new video and talking about the camera. DV cam was a professional format which ran a normal mini DV tape at a faster speed, which was better for less dropouts back in the day anyway, and it was good for audio sync, and that's why that feature was there. The downside, and it very much is a downside of DV cam, because as I mentioned, the tape is recording and running through the camera faster, the tapes don't last as long. So a 60-minute tape, I believe, works for 40. So that's something you've got to bear in mind. These cameras I do tend to record in DV cam mode, but these years later, and you'll see from other videos I've posted, DV cam these days, because they're probably mostly ex-professional cameras, they do get quite a few breakups. Well, this one does, the 150 doesn't. The 150 is in better, lower hours on the heads. But DV cam, as I say, it was a professional format and was designed for less dropouts and so on. Going down into the menu more, so I'll leave that on DV cam because I'm recording that. But yeah, DV SP, it just means standard mini DV recording, which is what all other DV cameras are. So a 60-minute tape will last 60 minutes. It records at a normal speed. Recording audio, you've got 48 kilobits or 32. Now, if you record it in 32, you have the option of going over the tape in the VCR mode and audio dubbing over something, so you could do a sort of a voiceover. So it gives you that flexibility to do that, though these days you of course put it on a computer and you could do that easily yourself. So it's always better to have it in the higher quality 48, which then takes away the ability in camera to do the voiceover. However, it's better audio, and as I say, these are going to go out via FireWire to your computer, and that's where you can do the voiceover and music or whatever you want to do. Mic NR is noise reduction. Having that on just limits a bit of the sort of staticky, electrically, you know, electrical sounds that sort of come from the camera and something, you know, stuff like that. It's trying to just get away with sort of motor noise, if you like. Think of noise cancellation headphones sort of thing. It's just trying to drown it out a bit, and it does an all right job. Audio set is if you've got the camera in manual operation, and this is where the menu differs slightly. If you've got the camera in operation in manual and you want to use the XLRs, zoom out, which you've got up here for your microphones. You can have two microphones plugged in, so you can have one clipped to you and then one on the talent that you're recording, or the shotgun mic. That's where you would have those manual operations on the sound, and you could control the channels independently at left and right. So that's why that's there. But in this case, where the camera's in that auto, I've got audio gain control. That's what AGC stands for. That's just switch to on and that's left to it. If you just wanted to see audio but you don't want to see the rest of the sort of menu system, there's an audio dedicated button here. Hit that and it will now tell you here quite clearly left and right channel and what's going on with them. So that's it really. Apart from that, the rest of the camera's pretty much self-explanatory to any other camera. You've got your zoom rocker here, you know, zooming in and out. You've got a photo button here. On this camera, a lot of people always ask about the card that you pop in the back here. It's just a photos, you can't record video to that. Some of the later cameras did record video, but it was incredibly low resolution. Sort of think early 90s webcams. It's you know, dog shit. So don't worry about using that. If you want to take some photos, take it on your bloody mobile phone. You'll get a better quality out of that. But yes, that is a manual look around this beautiful classic camera from around 2002, 2003. They were very, very popular, still are very popular. They hold the better values as cameras go on eBay. In terms of other stuff on the back here, you really just got your record button and the flick switch here between going into recording mode with the camera. So you press down for that, or you pull it all the way up to go to VCR mode. There is a memory one, which you can only operate if you remove the tag here. There's a little plastic clip. If you move that, it'll go all the way down into memory. If you leave it locked in, it will only go between VCR mode and camera mode, because most people would only use that. And that is the eject button for the tape. There we go. There's nothing in there at the moment. Record button on the top there. Record button, as I've already said, on the handle. But yeah, very, very nice camera. I'm very happy to own one. This one has been a bit temperamental when I first got it, with sort of breakups, but after a few head cleans and the like, it does seem to be behaving for the most part. And then, say, we've got the PD150 here, which has got less hours on it, so that's running even better. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye for now.